This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Welcome to another Pirkei Avot share. We are on chapter 5, Mishnah 14, and we dedicate this episode in memory of Levy Moshe Esther and Elisheva Yael Levy, and also in memory of Tzivia bat Moshe Esther. And I'm going to hand you over to Michael.
Thank you, Rav Shach. So this Mishnah, we're going to deal with 4 types of temperaments in man. Well, let's explore them right now. Arba midot b'deot. There are 4 types of temperaments. Noach likos v'noach liutzot. He who is easily angered, but easily pacified. Yatsa hamtzedo b'schoro. And his loss is cancelled by his gain. Kesha likos v'kesha liutzot. One who is hard to anger and hard to pacify. Yatzas choro b'haftzedo. His gain is cancelled by his loss. Kashe likos v'noach lutzot chosid. He who is hard to anger but easy to pacify is considered a pious man or chosid. Noach likos v'kasha lutzot rasha. He who is easy to anger and hard to pacify is a wicked person. So we have 4 combinations here of let's go through them again. So easily angered, which is a vice, but easily pacified, which is a virtue. The loss is cancelled by the gain. So there is nothing to be said about this, because one cancels the other one out. One vice is cancelled out by a virtue. Hard to anger, but hard to pacify. Gain is cancelled by the loss. So, and third one, hard to anger and easy to pacify. This is the best of all worlds. This is the best combination. This is the chassid. This is the one who is difficult to make him angry because he's composed himself and he has control. He's worked on himself, but yet he's easy to pacify. So he has a very good combination of midot, hard to make him anger and easy to pacify. The fourth, which is the rasha, is easy to anger, and when he's angry, he's hard to pacify. So let's look at some of the commentary by Irving Bunim. He says, by all accounts, anger is a bad emotion. It distorts personality and upsets mental equilibrium. The Talmud teaches, when any man gives way to anger, if he is wise, his wisdom leaves him. If he is a prophet, the power of prophecy leaves him. And even if greatness was decreed for him from heaven, whoever becomes angry will be degraded. This we learn in Pesachim 66b. So violent, irrational anger is destructive not only to the persons who are its target, but also to the one enraged. Conversely, says the Talmud, amongst those who HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves are a man who does not become angry as a rule, and one who will overlook irritating causes for retaliation. So, King Solomon comments very interestingly. He says, anger rests in the lap of fools. This we learn in Ecclesiastes 7:9. But, you can further say on that, when a man rises above his anger, whatever was in his lap will fall off, which is interesting. And I think we learn in Hilchot Deot, Rambam, he quotes a Mishnah where it says that whoever hears himself cursed and it's within his power to retaliate, but he remains silent, he is called a chosid. We also learn of King David, who was cursed by Shimei, the son of Gera, and he had the means to retaliate, yet he remained silent. Therefore he prayed, and it's quoted in Psalms 86:2, preserve my life, for I am a chosid. Conversely, anyone who will deliberately fly into a rage often and then be reluctant to leave his stormy state is clearly a rasha, and he cares little about the destructive effect of his anger on others and on himself, and also on Hashem, because it says in the Talmud, whenever any man gives way to rage, even the Shekhinah, the divine presence, has no importance for him. This we learn in the Nedarim 22b. He refuses to consider that if divinity is all around us, that he's constantly in his presence, and to have an emotional outburst would obviously offend the Shekhinah. And there's another interesting concept of not going to sleep on an argument. Rav Nechunya ben Hakna'ah was asked how he had merited a long life. He answered that no bad feelings upon another human being ever, and I quote, went to bed with him. This is quoted in Megillah 28 Omid Aleph. So, however strong his anger towards anyone on a given day, he made peace with him the same day, which we all know is very important. I'm sure everybody in every relationship with their wives or husbands have the same philosophy. Don't go to bed on an argument. And King Solomon says in Ecclesiastes 1:18, with much wisdom there is much vexation. The more we learn and know, the more we can see behind surfaces and illusions and find conditions and relationships that are inherently wrong or cruel sometimes. You should have this sense of anger as a kind of something that exists in you, because you should have sometimes you need to get some opposition to something. And also sometimes we know that the more kind of wise a person is, the more his kind of eyes are opened and sensitive to be aware of matters that are unjust or dangerous in some respects. But the Mishnah indicates, let a wise man be a chassid and control his anger. So the more you know, sometimes the more you can be outraged at, and you should be careful to keep yourself calm. And the state of a chassid is that he is shown in life efforts made to develop this right mindset of both instances for the sake of peace and harmony. So he knows he's conditioned himself to be slow to anger, but yet he's the opposite when it comes to pacifying. He makes himself quick to be pacified. So two sides he's conditioned his character. He's resistant to being angered, but an immediate cessation of anger. So, to conclude, talking about the Rasha, it is a destructive emotion that possesses him and controls him. Don Isaac Abarbanel in his commentary develops the theme, and I quote, if we but stopped a moment to observe what fury can do to a person, he would get far away from it. So when a man is angry, he loses his taste for food and his understanding of the simplest things. Rage and hate will eat into his very bones until his life begins to be an abomination and he grows to hate himself. In a fit of anger, he will say things to his father or mother that he will regret forever. He will disown his country and even curse HaKadosh Baruch Hu. His friends will learn to despise him. His family will fear him. Since his words and acts during a rage are folly, he will always have to apologize for them, and shame will always cover his face. Very true words from Don Isaac Abarbanel. And to conclude with King Solomon's wise words, remove anger from your heart and thus put away pain from your body. So let us follow the way of the Chassid. And that concludes this Mishnah. That's
a fantastic, very, very practical Mishnah. And I'm sure we can all learn volumes from just that one Mishnah. Okay, so next time we're going to be doing Mishnah 15, which is 4 types of Talmidim, 4 types of students. That's also very, very practical. And until then, we wish you a wonderful and blessed week.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.